Hey guys, how's it going? So, I've been grinding a lot of IS3 off stream. I actually ended up unlocking all the squads and beating the first ending on all of them off stream. I've really been enjoying this game mode. I also got most of the skill tree done. Definitely been helping a lot. It seems like they've improved a lot of the base squads with some of these bigger nodes, just because a lot of the later on squads are a little more powerful. That being said, I wanted to go for the second ending today. Unless we get really good luck, we probably won't go for the third. But I looked it up. I didn't see anything on what the actual fights were, but I wanted to make sure I knew how to get to the second ending, and it's a good thing I did that because we actually encountered on our second or third run what you needed to do to get to the second ending, and it's when you can recruit that knight that spawns every stage, near your defense objective. And you have to keep that knight alive, which we actually let him die last time because we didn't know. I thought he was just like a friendly NPC that you got to keep with you for a little bit, but you keep him alive all the way until the very end. He has absurdly high defense, but he can't be healed. And if he's alive at the end, I don't know if he's some kind of knight, he helps you fight the Seaborn, if there's something else like that. I still don't know if it's the second or the third ending where you fight Sculptor, but I've heard enough online about it that I know Sculptor's either the second or third ending boss. It's gonna be difficult. I did find out there's something to do with the second boss, similar to how you can or cannot disable Big Sad Lock's regeneration in IS2. There's another ending where you can lower the knight's defense, but I think that affects the knight that you have, which makes me almost think that the knight's the second boss, which would make Sculptor the third, but I have no idea. Anyways, let's just hop into it. I've actually really been enjoying this people-oriented squad. I got it upgraded through the skill tree, so not only do all operators cost 1 less hope to recruit, but it's also, I think, 1 less to promote. Yeah. And you get an extra safe house reward, which makes them super high value. You can go for a promotion and squad space increase. Oh. Sorry, I thought my stream crashed for a second. But I used to really prefer this squad in particular, just because guards are so powerful in IS3 and Arc-Knights in general. The issue I've been taking with this is, even though it's a lot better hope value than the people-oriented squad, for guards and vanguards specifically, it actually feels like it cuts out a lot of the value just by not being guaranteed. Because before, with these insta-promote squads, you could basically guaranteed start with a Thorns, a Mudrock upgraded. Did I not beat the... Oh, maybe I didn't beat the first ending with the squad. But a guaranteed upgraded Sculptor, or Passenger, or Spectre Altar. Now that that's no longer a thing, I think that it's a lot harder to make things work with that squad. So we're gonna try it first with this squad, and we'll see how things go. Dang, I was hoping for the 2 extra hopes start. I think that personally is probably the strongest start. We do start with 3 dice rolls now, a few extra ingots. I was surprised. I felt like you started with next to none. And I will say, the investment system, I don't recall it going up so slowly in IS2. Maybe that's just me. I know people will do the support squad start over and over to try and get it upgraded, but I've been going really slowly. But let's go ahead and grab an extra key. These can be really useful. I found a side path actually on the 4th or 5th floor where you can go to an extra stage and it gives you an extra mini boss, which is nice. It gives you extra resources. I've died on that floor once, but the final boss is super obnoxious because it has so much nervous impairment and no way to clear it unless you have, say, a mulberry or honeyberry, that you basically spend half that fight with most of your units stunned. It was pretty painful. I've also really been enjoying doing this start. Sometimes you just die. This might kill us. Oh boy. We'll start out with Thorns. I will say, for the first ending at the very least, 100% the MVP has been Texas Altar for me and Thorns. Super good units. Part of what I liked about this squad is sometimes if you get temporary recruitment with a similar one, you can just start out with an upgraded unit, which means we have a good healer. I just don't know if we'll have the DPS. We actually might die on the first stage here. I've been doing that a lot. It's awkward every time. We'll see what we can do. Like, I have noticed that about IS3 in particular. This stage we might be okay, but IS3 in particular, I've been dying a lot. In the first couple stages, like, unless I do a mud rock start, I actually haven't been doing, like, first floor emergency ops as much, which is interesting, because that used to be a 100% of the time, you get an emergency ops on the first floor, you go for it, and it's actually, like, the later ones you avoid. But I couldn't tell you. So much has been, like, flipped compared to the previous integrated strategies as to what's strong. But overall, really enjoy this mode. It's a lot of fun. Not too much to do here. This dice is also really helpful. Like, right here, we'll probably pop it. I rolled a 4. Honestly, I've been a little confused. So you can get, like, the effect that'll freeze your operators. And yeah, we're fine. Sometimes I've rolled a 1 moving to the next floor and not gotten any negative effect. It's strange. I don't really understand how exactly the dice roll function is meant to work. But we do need to make sure we save at least 2 hope. Which, perfect, we can just get an upgraded Thorns. Because you can either dice roll for the night. I have run in the encounter, I haven't tried it at all because I wanted to do the second ending first time on stream. But just interesting. Like, I have no idea how we're gonna keep him alive. Apparently, I think Sculptor, ironically, might end up being really helpful for this ending. Just because, as well as, we've been using a lot of Perfumer. But people were saying that regeneration does work on the knight, but healing does not. So I'd assume Perfumer's talent will work on him. We could also just use Tech's Altar, and a few other, like, high block operators, maybe just set him in front of the knight. It's just difficult because there's definitely going to be RNG as to where the knight spawns. And he's potentially going to take up a melee tile that we want for another unit. But overall, I don't think it should be too hard. Yeah, Thorns is good in IS2. I have been astounded though. Like, he's definitely one of the top tier 6-star units. He always has been. But in IS3, he just... like, I didn't even use him that much in IS2, comparatively. I think him and Texas Altar are almost a must-use. Like, there's just too much utility. Those two alone can kill the first ending boss. Like, easily, before it even leaves the starting area. You just use Texas Altar S3 to knock it down, and then within, like, the second or third deployment, she and Thorns will kill it. Like, it's insane. And then you just need, like, a healer and 1 lane holder. But this ending, I have no idea. Another guard voucher, huh? Oh, okay, I'll take a free temporary recruitment. That came at a good time. Otherwise, I wasn't going to take... I was probably going to end up with Midnight. Funnily enough, though... Original... What's side road? Original attack? Oh, she's a guard, so she probably just goes to, like, a defender attack range. Yeah, that's fine. I have found, though, that at the start, having a couple upgraded units is, like, way more powerful right now than having, a higher quantity of units. Because I've had starts where I had, like, 6 units and died to an emergency op, and I've had starts with 2 that I've been completely fine. I think part of it is just that even if you have the block count to deal with things, you end up lacking the DPS to actually get rid of anything. Whereas, like, once Thorns has Distrays active, nothing's going to threaten us. Well, the second one. But definitely units that I thought I would be using just as much as an IS2. Like, some prime examples are Neural Altar, at least for the first ending, has not been particularly helpful, which is funny because I used her every single time against Lucian. But... oh, and another good example is Rosa. Rosa was really helpful in IS2, and I don't think she's as helpful in this one. But we'll just have to see. Overall, I think it just depends on stage layout. Because a lot of the stages in IS3 too seem to be, like, pretty condensed, which is interesting. So I'm really tempted to get... well, I could, actually. I have no idea how good Side Rogue is. I've never used her. but I am tempted to get Neural the Radiant Knight because I'm pretty sure it's 2 hope for the Knight encounter. There, objective shield's nice. Out here. That's pretty helpful. So I'm tempted to get Myrtle here. But what I think I'm gonna do is get Fang. And just hold out that we can get like a really good, like we get Specialist or Sniper, that's Chalter or Texas Alter right now. And again, we need to save enough hope to make sure if we get that encounter for the second ending, we're good. If we don't get it by like the end of the third floor, I think we, yeah, see I rolled a 1 there and I didn't get any of the negative effects. So double call. The emergency dispatch I actually have found not to be too super helpful. The only thing I haven't tried is a 6-star promoted unit. But overall it hasn't done like anything for me every time I've done that, which has been actually pretty disappointing. These enemies are actually hilariously good for Thorns, just because they sit there, and even if they imply this little effect here, it just gives Thorns free offensive charge. Let's see if we can get the spike chest. These spike chests are actually just dumpster units. Yeah, hopefully Thorns doesn't come. I have lost on the first stage because I got one of these. And my only melee unit was, I think it was Lapland actually. And she just started attacking that thing and just died instantly. It was super funny. But we'll probably go ahead and deploy Neural Alter, yeah, as soon as Thorns finishes getting charged. Doesn't make for the most exciting playstyle for sure. I'd still like to try out, like, I think even more so than IS2, Abyssal Hunters really fits the theme of, you know, disintegrated strategies, but I have no idea how hard it'll be to do Abyssal Hunters. I can't imagine it'll be too bad. I think the main issue that could run into is anti-air. Which, I mean, if I ever raised Andriana, there's at least a narrow unit, and hopefully she'd have the damage to kill the first boss. Oh, perfect, and exactly what we were hoping, Suki. Another really great themed unit. I think I've mentioned it the first stream we did, but first time I ever watched, like, I only watched one person play IS3 so far, and it was actually Nami, the person who did the art for Mizuki and Golden Globe, but overall, I'm just not a big fan of using Mizuki. We are going to grab Texas. Just such a powerful unit, it's insane. I will say, even though S2 is higher like single target DPS, even on boss stages, I do find myself using S3 more often, just because the utility of that skill is really high. Just makes it really easy to work around. And at this point we're looking pretty solid. I guess we could use a little bit more range DPS. There are definitely some mid-game stages that if we only have Thorns going for us, we'll be in trouble. But we'll see, because I am still looking to try and get Sculptor. I feel like that might be one of the best ways to keep the knight alive. If we even get the encounter, I've had several runs where I didn't see it. I figured if we didn't get it this floor, we'd go encounter hunting next floor. Because I'd really hate to reset such a good run, just because we couldn't get the encounter we needed. And we could always just beat the first ending again, it wouldn't be that hard. I will say, one thing I've also enjoyed is they've added, in addition to the bear and the duck, they've added a new enemy that you can get occasionally just to kill and get an extra collectible, and it's the stealth enemy. And honestly, it's a little bit obnoxious because unlike the bear where it just like sustain and DPS, or the duck lord where it's just burst DPS, you know, you need burst DPS, but you also need, you have to have melee units because it's a stealth unit, or the ability to, like, I don't know, you could probably use. I'm trying to think of what. I mean, I don't think Horn S1 would work. I know there's a supporter with the buggy cams. I can't ever remember her name. That would also probably work for revealing the stealth. But other than that, like, it basically, you get like 1 attack's worth of time, because it'll be in stealth, and as soon as it gets blocked, you'll get like a split second to hit it, and then it'll hit the person blocking it and go back into stealth, because it'll stun them. Just really interesting stuff. I'm actually gonna grab Perfumer here. I don't believe her talent's that helpful at... Oh, does it not even proc? I was wondering about that, actually. But the sustain there plus Sculptor should mean the knight should be able to be kept alive. The stage again. I have also seen that eventually there will be a 4th ending for this mode, but it'll take a while, which isn't super surprising. I mean, the difference, it was a solid few months in IS2 before the last little bit of content came out. I will say, we got that spike chick last time. When you do have a key to open it, I think it just gives you a free collectible. Smashing it open, I think sometimes does something. Trying to think what the other option was. I think you can roll a dice as well. But I've had some pretty weird luck with the dice rolls. You can get a collectible that'll actually upgrade your dice so that it is an 8-sided die instead of a 6-sided. And the issue I've had with that is I had an 8-sided die and I still managed to roll 1 3 times in one run. Not in a time that it affected anything. In fact, I think it actually helped me, because on the wish fulfilled marker that happens at the end of like stage 2 and 4, where you get a free collectible and you get to choose one, if you roll a 1, it doesn't give you that collectible, it gives you a different one, which sometimes can be helpful. And then if you roll a 6 or higher, it gives you 2. But hopefully we can see that there. As always, the endings in this game are... Ooh! Nice, and we got an extra one. Yeah, I still haven't seen the +7 attack speed collectible. I don't know if it's just been renamed, because some of the collectibles I think have been. I obviously haven't gotten to that point in the bank investment system, but still very helpful. That's also really helpful. Some of the new collectibles are really nice, and some of them are like, you get 2 squad space and like 2 attack speed. It's interesting stuff, but let's go encounter hunting. Ooh, this is the equivalent of like the Blade Dance one. I believe it is Growth that we want. Migration, I think, is the Shuffle. I don't remember what Survival is. I was wrong, it's not Growth. I did a migration run with a similar squad to this, and it was interesting just because sometimes I ended up with the Texas the Armatosa that costed like 5 BP, and so I could just spam use her the entire stage by herself. I had one stage where she had, I think it was Lava's cost though, and I just couldn't use her that stage, and it was miserable. But the King's Collectible, you know, the King's Collectibles I think are the 1 HP ones. Really powerful effects, but only proc if you're at 1 HP. Not that Stone Gargoyle is that much more helpful. And what I'm actually going to do is spend a key to go downwards here so we can get an extra encounter. Because I really do want to do this ending, and we're at a really good point in this run that I'd be kind of disappointed if we didn't see the knight. But I would assume it's like some of the other endings where if you don't find it by the end of the 4th floor, you're probably not getting it. I can't remember if I've ever seen this on the 4th floor, but I do know, like, for example, Big Sad Log, I've gotten the first encounter on the 3rd and 4th floor. I've never gotten it on the last floor. And this one, maybe it would let you, just because the second encounter does just get rid of some of the armor. But we still probably shouldn't tempt fate. Actually, because we have one more squad space, we're at a really nice point where we have exactly the deployment limit of our squad size. Always helpful. But there's just so many aerial enemies. There's one in particular that Tex Alter is insane against with S3, where it's aerial, but as soon as it gets stunned or CC'd, which your S3 does do, it just knocks them down. Super helpful stuff. But I always used Project Red. I haven't tried Project Red just because I have Texas Alter now, but if push came to shove, I think she could do some similar things to Texas. The issue is I think her stun actually only affects ground units. That and she does like way less DPS. Took like 2 years, but probably won't be using Red nearly as much anymore. I think she's also a really suitable candidate, surprisingly, for an altar. I was thinking about that. Sure, she's already one of those operators that's probably hit near her peak. I mean, Lapland's afraid of her, Texas is afraid of her. She's called the Wolf Hunter, and yet despite that, like, I could see there being some character growth there. And that's all I think it really takes for there to be potential for an altar in Arknights, is for it to be a pretty popular unit, and to have, like, room for some kind of, like, a reasonable cause for there to be, like, a big upgrade, you know? Extra defense isn't bad. We're all getting pretty good vouchers, though. I've had runs where I'm just not getting anything I need. Grab Unchained. She's not nearly as helpful without her module, and we do still need range damage, but the other option was Guard, and I don't really... You know, I'm actually going to do this. I know there's an encounter later on where you have to have the lantern. Oh. Oh, right, it gives you, yeah, okay, if you have one of the effects, like the negative ones, I would assume that lets you take it off. Let's go for the emergency op. The cursed collectibles do that same thing. Kind of would have been nice to do in the other order. I don't know if it's just a higher chance on that option to get a better, like a better effect or anything. Really could not tell you. But unfortunately, I don't want to mulligan the first run of the day, so we'll probably go to the first ending if we don't get the encounter. But I was admittedly hoping to see the knight by now. I mean, in theory, the later on I've gotten it first floor, you know? It's probably easier to get it, you know, third or fourth floor, and then have to protect the knight for a lot less time. But it's also better to just get it than to not get it, so... I will say one issue with Texas Alter is once her skill goes down, especially after the first refresh, she no longer does damage. Like, she goes back to doing physical, she just... It's rough. That is kind of the point of the character, but... It's always nice, like, when she's hitting a big enemy, to put her in a position where she'll kill one unit, like just a trash mob, and then go for it. It is also worth noting that I think Thorns can kill these things, but my anti-air is still only Texas Alter and Thorns. Gotta be careful. You gotta consider too, that is literally the... It's still early on in the run, but that's... S3 is lower single target DPS than her S2 is, and she still kills that in 2 cycles. Super easily. I just realized it's only... It's awkward. For some reason I thought there were more enemies coming. But lost a life yet, which is nice too. I have yet to... I mean, we haven't tried the higher difficulties, but I do have yet to see my light go down low enough to get to another level. The lowest I've seen it go is like 85. Let's see. This is also like the only third floor elite I've gotten, and I don't know why. Given that in IS2 there's, what, 4 that can cycle? You know what? No, I've gotten one other one, and it's the one where you have to kill the 2 enemies simultaneously. But I would think there's still more than 2. Could just be RNG, it could be once you've defeated certain endings, I could also see that being the case. This boss is also not that hard. Usually I just solo it with Texas Alter as well. As Texas Alter gets such an absurd amount of damage mitigation when her skill's active, that even though this boss, like, it'll chunk allies. It usually won't one-shot anyone that's not like a 3-star, but when it has this ammo count, shoots that ammo and it hurts, you know? You can see she just eats 2 of the shots here. I think she ate all 3. I think you want to stun this boss, I believe the description says, when he's reloading. But I don't even think that's necessary. That was a decent stun. Like, again, 2 cycles in elite, like, just crazy stuff. But I have actually found if I'm going to die in a run in IS3, it's either at the very start or the very end. Usually the mid game is not difficult. I don't even think I've lost lives to a 3rd floor boss yet. Which, to be fair, usually you don't lose lives to, like, Terrifying Legends, I'm thinking about the 3rd floor elites in IS2, like, Terrifying Legends I almost never lose lives to. I only lose lives to the Golem if I'm in a terrible spot. This is actually, both of these are so good. I'm actually gonna grab Road Brooch. I was thinking about this, but I don't think Texas Altar's damage output's enough of a concern to go for that. Grab a I have found too, you can get some absurd squad space and deployment limit runs. I've had runs where like I had a full squad by like the end of the 4th floor and I could actually deploy every single unit. But back to encounter hunting. These mysterious collectibles I'm not a fan of. I just don't think they're helpful. I'd rather keep the ingots for a shop or the attack speed relic. I can't even remember what this one is. Oh, right, okay. Ticker recruitment. What we got Vanguard and Guard. Yeah, that's helpful. Probably won't do that again though. I will say we have the bonus to get really good safe houses and we haven't gone to a safe house. It is looking like we're not gonna get the ending, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping for that. Because this run I do think, even without having any idea what the boss is, like, if I got Sculptor and Shelter right now, oh, I don't like this stage. I'm pretty confident that I could just win. Like, regardless of what it was. One's here. I know there's a big wave of exploding bugs that comes this way. I forgot to change. Yeah, oops. I do that a lot in this game mode. Just forget to change the skill. This is one of the stages, though, that I do actively try to avoid if it's the emergency op. Just because it's killed me. Multiple times. I just don't like running for a, like a status healer in this mode. Because there's only a couple specific stages that I think it's super necessary. And in those stages, like this one, I think you can just get by being powerful. Which isn't always an option, but, you know. Yeah. This tile is really good for Tex. I think she doesn't reach a couple of those dodge enemies though if you don't set her where I did. I would say Perfume is really good. Part of what allowed me to beat the secret stage that you spend a key to get to was actually Perfumer, because even when she's stunned, her talent applies. Because I only had one medic at the time, I don't even think I had Soraya. So she just sits there and heals. And you're not actually in any real danger. Just because of that. Oh, we didn't get the version where all the bugs come through. That version I think is actually harder. Just because, for example, with the setup I've been using, which is this one, the bugs would just demolish your healers. Bro, we don't have the cash, but we could just roll for it. Could have been worse. A couple ingots. That. Dang, that's unfortunate. We would have had the perfect setup. But there's always opportunities to go for endings and stuff. Like, I really have realized after playing IS2 that half the time all you need to do is bang your head against the wall, metaphorically, enough times until you eventually beat an ending. Because eventually you will get, like, just a god run, and you will eventually win. It might take a while, but it will happen. Let's see. This spot doesn't do well for S3 just because she can't put this sword down, but I want her here just because there's enemies that come through here. Drop Fang actually. No, okay, I don't use Therapist healers very often. The only one I have raised I think is Whisper Rain, and she's more of like a, in normal content if I'm not using Shining or Telopsis or Perfumer for some reason, she's like the 4th option. That's why there's a couple other heroes like, I think her name's Tuya, that I've thought about raising because I know she's good, but I haven't done so because I have so many healing options right now. Yeah, we very much could lose a little bit of life on this stage. What is funny about these are the enemies I was talking about where if you stun them, they'll drop to the ground and that will actually just drop them in the hole and they'll die. Kind of like, I think I did that early. Never mind. On the first boss, that's a big help because it stops you from having to hold the right side. That is one unique thing about her that I've always liked. It like completely cuts out all of their sound. I always thought that was really cool. Another key. Upgrade side row. We'll do this. Because I'm hoping we can get a sniper or caster voucher. Because that is, I think, the only way we start losing lives. We have double safe house. Well, never mind. We don't really have any upgrades we need to go for. Might as well not waste the key. I actually really like this encounter too. You can trade in your collectibles for one. That might be a little more helpful. Being said, our general tools are pretty helpful. Let's try this. That's not super necessary. And honestly, so Sarkos enemies, I don't think this is nearly as helpful in IS3 as it was in IS2, but we'll see. Because in IS2, you had a ton of those charger enemies. And those stages could actually be really dangerous, and they were completely non-factors when you have that. This. Never mind, we won't try that. It would just give us a different random one. That's not as helpful, but more effective life. Oh, we rolled 2 1s in a row. That's what I'm talking about. See, I always thought for a while if you rolled a 1 there, you were bound to get... Oh, I guess we could... I think we could have re-rolled that. I think there was a perk in the tree I got for that. But I think... I don't know if it's an effect up here. Like when you get Bewildered or Survivalist and such. But I guess we could last-ditch effort try and go for every encounter this floor. I don't think it will work, but a man can dream. Yet another stage that Texas Ultra is pretty busted on. Because these guys will just start hucking spears at everyone, and they hurt a lot. In fact, this is one of the only stages that I regularly have Thorns die. Didn't deploy thing here. Just start getting some DP working. Thane isn't like super efficient as a DP generator, but she is free. Myrtle costs, I think, 1 or 2. With this squad, I think it's 1. But it takes 2 activations of her skill for her to technically make up for her deployment cost. Luckily at this point we have Thorns, Spectre Altar, and like these 2 upgraded as well, so even if Thorns goes down, we have enough units that are powerful right now that we can use that it shouldn't be a huge issue. Because I have had, like I've lost like 5-6 lives on this stage, specifically because my Thorns died and I only had like 1 other lane holder. Right there. Like, if 2 get through, though, he does just die. We could also drop... I think she'll die, though. Issue. Considering dropping your stream here, but... This. All things said and done, though, Neural Altar is still an insane unit. Definitely my favorite Dreadnought by far in the game. I would still say my favorite guard, even if I think Thorns is better for this mode. But I'm also biased. I really like Neural. I thought the Commissaires events were just so good. Oh. Honestly, I will say too, I thought that the freezing effect might be... Oh, we have Duck Lord. I thought the freezing effect might be a little more common. I didn't see which path he takes, oops. I thought it might be a little more common in IS3, given that it's so like heavily based around the Seaborn, but I really don't see it very often. Oh. That's really awkward. I kind of just for some reason, literally based on nothing, assumed he was gonna go through the top path. That's fine. What we got here? Thunder, let's grab Sarah. Well, oh, Brad. I had just been talking about how I wanted more anti-air, and then I was like, let's pick Defender. Oh boy, hopefully this, emergency op doesn't cut us too hard because of that. I mean, which one did we get? Oh, this one's not bad at all. I can't remember, so there's a spike chest, there's a regular chest, and there's one that turns into a monster and just messes you up. I really hope it's not this one, because if it is, I might have just put myself in a really bad spot. Nope, it's that one. Uh-oh. Oh, goodness no. This is actually how I've lost a lot of lives on this stage. Or just any stage in general. Yeah. That's really awkward. So it's the one with the shell. I can never remember. Oh, I didn't stop that one in time. I'm not even going to bother trying to stop the Mimic. I don't even know if the Mimic does damage you. I really messed up this stage, well. To be honest, what I should have done is just put Thorns pointing downwards. That being said, we have so many lives at this point that I can't actually say I think we're going to die or anything. But I've made that mistake before. That and the spike chest are exactly how I've died on the first stage multiple times. Just because you don't expect it, and then all of a sudden either your main unit kills themselves on these spikes, or that thing comes through and just rolls you. It does a surprising amount of damage for like a quote-unquote mimic enemy. To be fair, in like the Souls games, I've died to mimics a lot. The first time I ever found a mimic in DS3, I didn't know it was a mimic, so I just opened the chest like an idiot, and it just ate me, just one-shot you. I do wonder though if the mimics are significantly more powerful because Thorns died again, because it's an emergency op. Oh, I also didn't... I've made a lot of mistakes this stage, if we're being honest. I 100% thought that I had pointed thorns, not thorns, perfumer downwards. Luckily Texas Alter is here to bail us out. As per usual. Could even do this. But I really do feel like, and maybe it's just me because I've had so much time playing IS2, I really do feel like IS3 is easier than IS2. And it might be a result of some things being nerfed, but... like, for how badly I messed up this stage, I do think if I was playing IS2 and I messed up this bad on a... we were on 5th floor emergency op, I'm pretty sure we just die. Whereas here we lost 3 lives, which is not a big deal. In fact, I just did the objective. That's a really helpful collectible. And I'm just beating myself up now that we didn't get the event. Because we are looking so strong. And I've actually been using Chalter S1 over S2. When she's not upgraded, I used to use S2 every single time because you could get 28 ammo on S2. But I found that S1 is just more immediate power in a stage, and she already costs so much to deploy that sometimes I think that's what you need. Here we go. This stage is nice too because these things I don't actually think count against block, I think they just sit there. But when they sit there and fire those at thorns, I mean, it just gives him charges. Like, that enemy would be a lot more annoying, I think, if they counted towards block count, but because they don't, it's a lot less dangerous. We're clearing these out, though. The horn trumpet bear that we one-shot here, too, they actually really hurt. Like, to the point that it's kind of scary. I think they just announced a Laterano event with an altar for, I believe it was Executor, which is going to be cool. So many cool events coming up in a lot of games. I've been playing a lot of Goddess of Victory Nikke in my off time. That's not a game I think I'd ever stream just because I don't know what I'd stream in it. Kind of the same issue I'm having with Star Rail, where like it's fun, I like to play it a lot, but with the update pattern and everything, it'd be kind of difficult to actually stream anything in it, I think. But I think they're doing a Nier Automata collab, and they did a Chainsaw Man collab. It's really cool to see these games now that just gaming's become so mainstream. You get these really cool, like, high-profile collabs. I mean, Arknights has the Monster Hunter collab coming up. They've had R6, which I actually started playing a lot more R6 recently. I only play casual, I don't play ranked in hardly any games anymore, but I was up to like a 60-something win rate. Pretty fun. They added like this character Azami that you can just build temporary walls with like a throwable kunai. Super funny. But it's just nice to go back to some old games every now and then. Try them out. Thought about going back and trying out some like Valorant or Overwatch 2 again. Which we did stream Overwatch 2. I think we climbed from... I'd never played ranked on PC. I'd gotten to Diamond and Console, and I know we climbed in 2 streams from like placing unplaced to silver, and then we climbed to like low to mid gold. We were just playing autofill though, so we were mostly support, which... not exactly the most interesting stream, to be fair. I used to play a lot of tank, but it is. You know what? I haven't tried this one yet. And this run's so strong, and it doesn't matter if we lose. I'm gonna try that. Last chance, though? No. Okay, I was pretty sure we wouldn't get it. I'd really have to look around and see if that's the case, because I've always been under the impression that for endings, like ending encounters, if you don't get it by like the 3rd, if not, or the 4th, if not the 3rd floor, I don't think you can actually get it. Because I know I've seen like the Big Sad Lock, the lose one hope, gain one hope encounter on the 4th floor many times. but I've never seen it on the 5th. The downside to this is it does hurt Tech's Altar a little bit, but we did grab Myrtle, so I'm hoping that'll kind of make up for our higher DP costs here. But Thorns and Tech's Altar can handle this top side entirely, so this stage has not usually been an issue. I've lost lives on occasion, but a lot of times this stage is just kind of a joke for a first ending. I mean, it's, you know, an ending isn't super hard in integrated strategies when I, of all people, can beat it first try and then have it die to it on like the 8th or 9th try. Actually half tempted to put down Fang as well just for some more DP. Just because we're going to be eating through it a lot. Because it's 5 extra DP cost every single time we deploy Texas here. And she gets deployed a lot in this stage. What I've been doing for a really easy strategy with Thorns and Texas Altars, as soon as the boss hits right about here, I deploy Texas, it stuns the boss, she usually gets a reset off of one of these Manta Rays. And that'll get you most of the way, if not the entire way through the first phase. And then you pull her back. And where I use lives usually is during this part where I'm waiting for Texas to come back through, because then I need some anti-air to stop, say, this guy. But when I shoot, it doesn't have this big aura that definitely seems to lower the attack speed of everybody by a lot. But still, I just don't think it's an issue. Do this. But yeah, I have actually not even seen the boss leave this starting area before, and the path looked like it kind of went around in a circle here. He did lose a life here. I'm assuming it's one of these guys that just got through. But I think the most lives I've ever lost to this boss, and I've beaten it now with every squad except one, is I think 3. Which is just crazy. Part of it, I think, is even though there are 2 paths, the amount of threat on this bottom path is actually really low. Like, when I have Mudrock, I just stick Mudrock where I have Soraya here, and she completely handles everything by herself. Like, just not the most threatening stage. I'm really hoping that the second or third ending is pretty hard. But we'll have to see. Because, like, the IS2 bosses in particular, I never played the original integrated strategies, but the IS2 bosses, like, especially the third one, I remember. The fourth one is less specific. But for the third ending, if you don't have a fast redeploy operator or a global operator, you're not beating the mouthpiece. But we'll give it another go with the same squad. If I don't get the encounter for the night by, I think, the ending of the 4th floor, we'll just mulligan the run, because I really do want to at least see the second ending this stream. But I really do think this might be the strongest squad now, just because it's so inconsistent. Like, if I could guarantee I was starting with a solid unit with these, it'd be super reliable, but yeah, it's a little unlikely. Ah, we didn't get the 2 hope start again. E. Oh, that's helpful. Huh. I'm debating a couple options here. I think I'm gonna try something that might be a little stupid. But we've talked so much about how I think Sculptor plus Perfumer E2 should be able to keep the knight alive. Just because supposedly regen works, but I don't know what skill I want to use on Utage. I've used her a couple times. The issue is she's our only offensive unit and she'll have sustain. Probably fine. It just stinks that it will be... I just feel like this is a non-factor. Without their healing. But this does nothing after the first 16 seconds. We'll try it. I think this starting stage though is a lot easier than the oh, that is a huge chunk though. There's the starting stage where you have the I can picture it in my head. I'm just thinking about how to describe it. The like the big axe enemies that show up immediately, that one I think is actually a little bit more threatening than this one. Oh, he only has one block. I forgot about that. Hopefully we get a melee voucher then. I feel like I have not been able to escape the curse of the caster and supporter vouchers in this game mode though. Which now that I think about it, actually Suzerain might be good for... Yeah, I'm sort of just brainstorming good ways to keep that knight alive, because the one time we tried using him, we did just let him die. Because I didn't know he was important for the second ending. And he has like super high defense, but if he's just getting peppered down, it's... he'll die. Well, I don't think I actually want to upgrade Scotty here. Let's grab Orchid. Gives us a little more CC. Oh, we got it! Nice. Okay, I really want to be risky here, but I feel like I would kick myself if I rolled a 1, and we did roll 2 ones in a row earlier. I will not be taking the emergency op, even with the knight. I don't feel like dying. The downside is that because we got the knight first floor, it's going to be a little harder to keep him alive, because we have to keep him alive for every fight now except one. It's right here. Luckily, I don't think early on there's anything that'll kill him. We'll even use the Seaborn for him if he gets into trouble. I should have pointed her the other way. That or I should have pointed her down so she could get this chest, because that early chest could have... You know what? That might backfire. But maybe I have time to get her and redeploy her in time to get this chest here. And I think this is just a regular one. You would think after almost dying on an emergency op to that... Yeah, this guy's 12. That I would be a little more cognizant of which one spawns the mimic. I'm not. I've already forgotten. Do... like this. Yeah, she's just gonna hit these guys. Let's actually do this. Might be able to buy myself time. She's not gonna need too many attacks, but she'll definitely prioritize enemies if enemies are ahead. Yeah, I don't think we'll get it. Dang, I messed up. Wait. Wait. No! That's unfortunate. Wait! Does that count? She hit it as the mission accomplished screen came up. Ah, it doesn't count. That's unfortunate. Let's just grab Cruise. I really was hoping for some early melee character vouchers, and then we got support sniper. So ironically, the knight's kind of bailing us out by giving us some extra block to work with. I've been told he always spawns near the entrance as well, which is important. I do think if we hadn't started with a healer, or if we'd started with a another blocker, S1 might have been better for Utage. But because neither of those things is the case, I'm fine with her just not having a skill like this. Probably not the correct way to do it, but hasn't mattered so far. Gives her a little extra starting power when she gets in. I am worried about emergency ops though, because ideally you want to take as many as you can for free collectibles to make you stronger. I also don't want to kill the knight. And I'm super worried that's gonna happen. We have like a super high range presence, like the exact opposite of last run. So now I hope we never see another medic voucher. Grab a cap. Ugh. I really need a guard or specialist voucher right now. Oh, we got an enlightenment. What's this? That's not bad. I highly doubt that affects the knight. That's not bad. A safe house. Worst comes to worst. I mean, we do get 2 safe house rewards. We don't... Ideally, we get, like, squad space and a promotion. Nice. I was hoping that's where the knight would be. This stage could actually be a little tough. What I probably should have done actually is waited to deploy Utage until these guys started coming up. Because I am thinking we might take some damage this one. I know I've said that a couple times, but seriously. I guess we technically received 2 melee vouchers because we started with Utage, but not really. Even with the people-oriented squad, it's not possible to start with an upgraded Thorns. I could have maybe greeted and gone for like an upgraded Lapland, but when the game offers you a free unit, that's part of why I like the random squad, is that's the only way with a non-like insta-promote squad to start with an upgraded operator, is if it gives you 2 of the same one. And actually both runs we did so far, we started with a upgraded temporary recruitment pure stream last time, and this time it was Utage. Alright. Come on, game. Guard or specialist, please. Nice, okay. Big text. And then we get double safe house rewards, so let's take the promotion voucher. We are going to promote her. But I have no idea if there's actually any reason with this squad not to reuse the facility. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. We're about to level up, but I'm actually going to take the hope. Let's try and get as much early power as we can. This emergency op I don't think should be a danger either, unless the knight puts itself in a spot where it's getting blasted by the, by this. Which it did not. I wonder if it's programmed not to. That would be extraordinarily helpful. We do have a surprising amount of like sustain perks this run. We got that blessing. I don't know if you can get... I'm sure if you rolled 6 multiple times you could get multiple blessings. Which they're all pretty good. Like pretty much all of them I think are just straight up buffs. Oh. Looked an enemy to the splitting ones. Nexus Altar is also really good for dealing with these in either S2 or S3 just because she kills one, and then the AoE burst from either skill just instantly kills the rest. Not the biggest of deals. Like I was saying, I have no idea. At first I thought you could maybe do like a Darkest Dungeon low light style run, but I've never gotten the light lower than like 85. No idea. That's also a really helpful collectible. That means we won't have to worry nearly as much about voucher luck. Grabble, reliable. Yeah, already looking pretty strong as a run. Like I was saying, I have no idea what to expect from the ending, the second ending boss. So there's a chance I'm just woefully unprepared. But I'm just gonna hope that's not the case. For some reason I thought I had S3 thorns already. I was like, why is that charging automatically? Just deploy into the game. It's always nice when you have a higher deployment limit than squad limit, I will say. Obviously you can't really make use of either. Like, in theory, like a higher squad limit means that you have more options to work with, but nothing just annoys me more than having like 10 units I can use and only being able to deploy like 5 of them at a time. Just feels so pointless to me. Alright, here we go. Best case scenario, guard or sniper voucher. I guess medic wouldn't be bad, I'm just thinking. Oh, thanks myself. Actually, medic is not helpful. I thought we had an upgraded perfumer. Let's just grab cardigan for now. I still feel like I'm in like the large minority. Oh, I can't even. Oops. Large minority by not using spot over cardigan. I just think. Oh, both of these are super good. I'm gonna go with pure gold though. I just don't think with the squad we have, we're gonna be hurting enough for Hope to need a secret HR letter. Somebody's getting messed up. Cardigan, that's fine. That's fine. This is the one, yeah, I was gonna say, if they're not at max HP, they just continuously start losing HP, which to be fair, as a defender, she won't be, because she'll be in the front line. I still don't think that'll be an issue. We have to wander in the Wonderland node. We get safe house and emergency ops no matter what. Oh. Okay, we're gonna start losing life too. Worst comes to worst, we get extra life from the safe house. And I actually, considering what I want to do here, I don't think Wish Fulfilled is necessary just because I don't think we have any truly bad collectibles right now. Let's go to the Rogue Trader. Hopefully we'll get at least 3 ingots here and we might be able to get a good collectible. Knight's in a good spot. The Knight will ideally be in a position where I can protect him with thorns. I will say we probably do need upgraded thorns ASAP, but getting 2 voucher choices every single fight, plus the shot, means hopefully we'll get it before this this floor's boss. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, because Texas Alter can kill the boss by herself, but it would make life a lot easier. Still just blows my mind how much damage this character does. Even with like the like a highly upgraded Project Red module, which basically just guarantees she does like a certain percentage of her attack to an enemy on attack. She does not do anywhere near that much damage. Like, I've gotten a hand of super speed with Texas Alter, and she just, it's just comedic how fast she attacks. Alright, what do we got? So, Option here would be Sculptor upgrade, probably Soraya, or Spectre. I just think Spectre's such a high utility character. Riot piles block the enemy, that's interesting. Caster buff, sniper buff. I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna upgrade Scotty. And I'm going to grab Fire. I would say I personally use Sculptor S2 a lot more than S3. I think that'll also be more helpful for keeping the knight alive. But I know a lot of people strongly prefer this. I have never gotten anything other than a couple ingots out of dispatching an operator, so I'm just gonna grab the hope. Anyway, what have we got? Squad size could be helpful. I think what we do though is we just grab promotion voucher for Thorns. Which means the next voucher we get will be a guard. And then... oh, you can get another I've never gotten multiple promotion vouchers, never mind. I thought it always gave you different options than the one you immediately took. That's the first time I've seen that. This shouldn't be too bad. If we get another safe house though, we probably should take some max life. Just because I'd like to give myself as much of a I didn't change Thorns' skill. Oh no. That's really awkward. I have done that more times than I can count. I'm like, yes, I finally got the upgrade I really, really needed, and then I don't use it. Should still be fine. How much block does the knight have as to? I'll be honest, I also thought at first this was the version of this stage where these two tiles are blocked and a charger comes through. I know there's a version of this stage with the Rat King, and then there's a version with like some kind of catapult launcher thing. Blocks 4 enemies. And this could be helpful later on. The little like gadgets you can get in integrated strategies have always been like helpful, just never, in my opinion, super game changing. Okay, we got the catapult. Actually, something like this. I found it interesting that they brought these enemies back. They give you extra block. It's felt less dangerous here than it did in the new chapter when it came out, maybe just because it was a new mechanic back then. But you never know. Also, there was, you know, the giant, like, bomb that would drop on you. In, what was that chapter? Was it 10 or 9? Was it, I think it was 10. And those last for a decent amount of time. Yeah, not an issue. I did forget that I was going to be losing HP though entering combat nodes. It's not unhelpful. I feel like there's more elemental damage on melees in some of these stages than in ranged, just because of the water spreading mechanic. And ooh, a free storm is really tempting, but this, because we'll level up after this fight. Does this count as a combat node, I wonder? And we did get the double enemy, okay. Shouldn't be an issue as long as we don't forget to turn on Destreza. I can't believe I did that. Yeah, this boss is, I think we did it once the first stream. But it's not really an issue, it's just, there'll be one enemy that comes through here, and as soon as you kill it, it'll regenerate. And then an enemy will come through the top that it's kind of hard to hit. I think Rosa would be good for this stage, but this is literally the only stage that I've felt Rosa would be good for, so I haven't used her. But yeah, this guy will just continue to regenerate. You stall him as long as possible until you kill this one. I think it might get stronger every time too, but I'm not sure. Kind of hard to tell, to be honest. That being said, it's not going to get past Texas, so... I do want to let some of these go through so that he can charge up his skill. No, just in case. You never know. Oh, the regen works on these guard blocks too, that's interesting. I actually didn't expect that. Let's not deploy Texas again because I'm gonna have her drop here and help kill the boss if Spectre even needs her help, which she probably doesn't. Yeah, I think this bottom one just could insta-die as soon as this guy's down. Oh, okay, that's not the way I thought that worked, admittedly. I think, to be fair, every time I've had this bug right here, it is just a simultaneous go. I've always had the bug like right up here, so Thorns was just insta-killing it on spawn. Whereas here, that's not actually the case. That's awkward. Still shouldn't be an issue, but that is awkward. It's a cool mechanic, though. Nothing like super new or out of the ordinary, but it's not something I think we've seen in Arknights before. Oh. Both of these are really good. Draft of a Speech at this point, I don't think, to be fair, is super helpful. I haven't seen it yet, so I really want to take it. But this is more helpful for this run, just because of Thorns. Alright, so what upgrades do we have? Grab. We need Sniper, Defender. That's it right now. I would not be opposed to... If I took another Specialist, it would be Galadia. I'll just do this for now. Galadia would be good, I think, just for crowd control, but... Not too worried. Okay. That's not an issue. I wonder, I don't know if you can get different rejections, but Texas having that particular one isn't a huge issue. There's one that I think like halves all your stats and makes you basically a fast redeploy operator. That one I think would be funny on Texas, but then she'd just become a CC bot, I think, rather than doing nearly as much damage. But you don't drop Texas to sit on the field and hold a lane. And we're not using Cardigan, so not a big deal. Go to the safe house. I'm not doing that. I could have done it once to maybe get enough hope to recruit a 6-star, but I'm not interested in dying. Let's grab some life points. Just a little bit. And then what have we got? So I could take squad space. I didn't see if a promotion voucher actually was an option. If it was, I probably should have taken shelter upgrade. Let's just grab squad space here. Not super helpful right now, but it could be later. Might as well give ourselves options. I do not like this stage. I wonder if that's like the designated tile for that guy to drop here. And actually the Hemopoetic or whatever status is probably slightly countered by the fact that we have whatchamacallit, so much regen. With like the lowest operator regaining health and such. That's nice. Oh wow. The friendly units taking less elemental damage I did think would be helpful. I didn't think it'd be that much less That's kind of crazy. Oh no. I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. That's really awkward. What's nice about the liquor perk we got is it passively just starts charging up Thorn's skill, so we need to worry a lot less about feeding him enemies. I'm glad we took some extra life though. We wouldn't have died there, but that would have hurt a lot. That was 100% my fault. I wasn't paying enough attention. So, get rid of... Yeah, nervous impairment stages are just the worst, I swear. Luckily, just because of the combo we have here, the knight has never been in danger. I was actually really worried about keeping the knight alive. Again, not a perfect stage. I mean, I just was greedy. When I tried to drop Texas over here, I didn't realize that we were about to lose because, we'll lose a couple lives. Got a free... Go... Hand of Diffusion. If only I was using Passenger, huh? We could go double emergency ops. I think that would be really nice. I also think there's a very high chance that would kill me. Which one is this one? This one isn't too hard. You know what? What's life without a little bit of risk? If I die here, it's due to my own stupidity, because this is a really good run. Like, this is a really solid run. I don't want to lose it. But, you know. This, and we'll drop Chalter here. I am hoping to either get, part of the reason I'm doing this is I'm hoping to either get one of the DP, like the collectibles that start you with a little bit of extra DP, even if it's just 10. That or to get Myrtle. Myrtle would also be very helpful. Yeah, this stage isn't usually too bad if you have Texas. I have literally not done this stage without Texas. I haven't done a lot of the later game stages without Texas. But she's such a good unit, man. Like, it's always gratifying to see, like, in any game like this, your favorite character get an altar and just the altar be super busted. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me really happy. Because if she'd gotten an altar and the altar was just terrible, it would have felt really bad. I think the scariest thing I've seen actually so far, just doing the first ending, isn't even the boss. There's that one where you can take a random collectible, but you'll like run into some trouble later on, I think is what it says. And he just spawns this massive enemy at some point later on in the run, and it's actually the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. We have 2 roadblocks, we have... Oh, Chalter doesn't have ammo, that's a bit bad. Because ordinarily what would be really good here is having Spectre Alter just sit here and become pretty much immortal. While Chalter... we can still do it. But this combo right here, it buys so much time for Chalter to just kill the bear, because later on the bear becomes extraordinarily tanky. But you can't kill a unit that literally can't be killed. So... Here we go. It's a little unfortunate to get that, to be honest. But what have we got? You know what? We have Hand of Diffusion. Let's go for broke. A little bit of a shame to waste that, but I think that just shows that we're in a pretty decent position. My passenger does finally have tier 1 of his module, but not any higher. This one isn't usually too bad either. As long as the knight doesn't die. I would be extraordinarily sad if he did. Just because we're doing so well, but that's the entire point of this run. Maybe I could have done that the other way around. It's actually usually not the way I deploy on this stage. I usually put thorns here, or I mean I put thorns here and then 2 blocking units here. Still don't think it'll be a problem. Like, we're just so strong at this point. Like, unless I really mess up, I just don't see us losing. Knock on wood, of course. I'm not exactly trying to jinx myself. It would be funny. But, would also be kind of sad. But at this point, the only unit I can think of us really being able to use is Myrtle. We have so many solid units, but we just don't have the DP to use them. To be fair though, I think we passed up on a few Vanguard vouchers. I do like that the knight has been tucking himself away as far back as possible. It's made protecting me easier. I've had a couple stages, like the nervous impairment stage we went through, that we lost a couple lives on, where he just plants himself smack dab in the middle of the entire enemy squad. And just like the worst part, and it was just the most insta-dead knight I've ever seen. Alright, Vanguard voucher, please. Nice. Okay, that's fine. I mean, there really are no, I think, holes in our current build. Try this. I think if we get her S3, she's really good crowd control. If not, I don't think it's the most helpful thing. Now we have higher auto regeneration skills and offensive defensive. Oh, we rolled a 6, but we didn't get a blessing. That's a bit unfortunate. What's floor looking like? I kind of want to go... I wonder if I could wish fulfilled and get rid of like Miss Christine's petting ticket, since that's already been used. A rogue trader wouldn't be bad because we don't have any reason to keep our ingots. We don't have an attack speed relic this time. What stage is this? Oh, this stage is not. I just want to give ourselves as much opportunity as possible to get a Vanguard voucher. It doesn't even have to be an upgraded Myrtle. I just need DP generation. Because if we're gonna die, it's because we don't have the highest life count, and it's gonna be at the beginning of a stage. Oh, wait for this guy to move. I don't want to activate the flower. I've never let this guy break all the way through, so I don't know if enemies path differently if it does. But I'm not exactly in the business of wanting to find out, so... I like putting Spalter in the start. I mean, at the front of like the defensive line. Just that way, when she uses S2 and she goes into like her healing mode, she's not exactly in danger. Did Passenger just activate one of those? That's not good. I feel like on this stage you do want to bait them into coming a few at a time, but wasn't exactly ready. I'm just gonna hold Passenger skill towards the end of the stage as well. I don't know if they nerfed Hand of Diffusion either. I've actually not had this combo yet, but to be fair, I felt like it was only really good on Passenger. But when you had Hand of Diffusion Passenger, you basically just won unless Passenger got one shot. We'll see. Nope. Every bolt hits, he still gets his skill back. I mean, we are, like, I thought our last run was powerful. We're stronger this run. Like, that is pretty insane. I was hoping to find one more safe house. I didn't see if we'll get one. Oh, we got a key right before a cache. That's... I'm not even going to try to roll every time I've done that. It hasn't worked. That is... that health. Unless, wait. Yeah, no, I was going to say. I'm not crazy. Dumb, but not crazy. And we got our, okay. We got what we were looking for. I'm an idiot. We do get a safe house. Yeah, W safe house is just the most broken thing, I swear. So good. Alright, who do we take out? Probably Cruz. And I still don't think even with that artifact, that Myrtle would be more helpful than Gladia here. Let's take... Debating a couple paths here. 8 collectibles available trade. You can't trade Miss Christine's petting ticket. We're not getting rid of that. And a buckler's what's going. What do we got? That's pretty helpful. It's not bad. We have a lot of micro stuns. I'm gonna take Old Fan though. Can't ever go wrong with just giving yourself a ton more damage. Got a chest there. I think that's just a regular chest. This is one of the many lovely stages that just has a ridiculous amount of nervous impairment, so we'll have to be careful. I don't think any enemies go straight down here. Nice, okay, it's just a regular chest. Wait, what happened to the knight? Oh no. Hold the phone. When did he die? Oh my goodness, I'm an idiot. When did he die? He's just gone. Oh. I messed up. That's really awkward. I have no idea when the knight died. Oh, I'd have to look back at the VOD. I was here just sitting here having a great old time thinking, man, I'm so strong. When did he die? Oh, dang it. That is incredibly awkward. Ow. I think he's been dead for a few stages now because I do not recall. Now that I think about it, have I seen him in past couple stages? I can't believe that happened. Because if we'd gotten to the final boss, I'm sure this would have been a free win. Like, regardless of what the ending boss was. Ah, that sucks. I mean, does the collectible disappear? We still have the Breath of the Tide. I'm so confused. It said people were saying that the... No, okay, no, we're still good. I was gonna say, people said that the ending changed if the knight died. Where is he? I was panicking so hard for a second there. I was like, he's gone? I killed him? Let's not tempt fate and go downward. I don't even know if I had a key. I'm so confused. Where is he? Maybe he disappears when you get to the... I mean, like I said, I don't know for certain because I didn't want to spoil myself, but I'm assuming that the knight is the final boss. It's a real stab in the back when you consider we've been helping him this much, but... Where did he go? I was so confused, I didn't even realize he'd gone. Was he gone since the beginning of this floor? I'd have to imagine that's the case, but... Oh, I panicked so hard for a second there, I thought I'd completely chucked the run. Alright, now we just have to worry about... The only thing I think we have to worry about now is just, in terms of upgrades would be maybe getting, like, Glaudia E2'd. Because, to be honest, if I don't get her E2'd, I probably won't use her. I think her, tornado skill is, like, super helpful. But without E2, I just don't really know if it's worth using her. We have 2 units that we won't be able to deploy from deployment space right now. Unless we get something at the shop. Which would be nice. I think these guys only throw spears too when they're still in their standing still phase. Don't think I've ever seen them huck one when they're moving. Honestly though, it's funny, I've been talking with some friends and everyone's been saying like, yeah, there's not been a whole lot of like really great AAA games that have come out, but I'm the only one of my friends that plays a lot of gacha games, because a little bit of a bad habit to be fair. But I feel like gacha games have been like really thriving recently. I mean, Genshin's still going strong, I think Arknights is still going strong, we have Star Rail out, I mean just so many good options. He didn't even have a key, so we couldn't have gone downwards to the emergency op. Wow, that is unfortunate. It still gave us ingots, though. That's a consolation prize. There's that. I mean, the game is being incredibly nice right now. What do we got? Oh, Hand of Super Speed. Perfect. Grab the life points. Deployment limits. Might as well buy out the shop. I'm just debating what I want. Won't be able to upgrade Myrtle, which isn't usually an issue. It's not like you upgrade Myrtle, hold a lane. I was thinking, who would be useful at S1? Exi is good anti-air. I don't think there's a 6th floor in Ascending that I mean, I would assume one of the, like the 3rd floor. I wouldn't be surprised if it has anybody. Hopefully we don't. Let's check out the map again. Okay, so there's one entry point to hold. Enemies will spawn out here and come out up top. I'm not sure which of these range tiles I can use, but I think we maybe hold this choke here if you can't use these ones. Stage has rubble that can block the enemy's path. That's also good to know. Probably play at 1x speed at the start, because I'd love to first try the second ending as well. There's the rubble right there. I can't imagine that being the most disruptive thing. Just said we'll do 1 time. Okay, so we need to hold a little bit more forward. Yeah, I still have no idea where our Friendly neighborhood night went. He's just gone. He just... he went on vacation, he peaced out, he's no longer with us. Start having Texas take care of these guys though. There's 65 enemies. Let's get a healer down. I don't need the healer on Myrtle, because once we get going a little bit more, Myrtle will probably be retreated. Are these guys stealth? Am I an idiot? That is a lot of enemies on. I'm actually gonna do this. The last night. Is that our buddy? Have you betrayed us, old friend? After all I did for you. Oh. I would assume then that this rebels here just kind of stall him. He has a lot of defense. I think I was right though. Like I was talking about, I know there's supposedly eventually an event where you are able to lower his defense, and I'm sure that's the event that we maybe should have looked for. I don't know if you had to do it when he was still with you though. That would also make sense to me. Let's drop passenger. Don't know if we'll drop shelter with the way things are going, but the thought would be passenger's Hand of Diffusion CC will potentially hold the boss there a lot longer than shelter's slow would, and we still might drop her here. She just might die. Here's the point where we just start dropping Texas on the boss. We probably should have changed her to S2 just because it is a boss stage. Does she not reproc her talent when she's being... Oh. Okay, she doesn't when she's frozen, but she still drops the singular sword. That's interesting. I'm glad we have passenger actually as well, just because if he's gonna have such absurdly high defense, it's probably a good thing that we can kind of provide a bit of a barrier to him. Are we freezing ourselves by attacking him? Oh, that hurts the casters here. Honestly, it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on. I think it's by attacking him, which is actually kind of horrifying. Not... Oh, for some reason I thought that she had the range there. Unfortunately, if it's per hit, passenger's instantly going to freeze himself every single time he casts. But I really hope he doesn't have a second phase. He totally has a second phase. I'm gonna stick that there just to block for Texas, I think. Luckily, he's still gonna spawn on Spectre Altar, so she should be able to. Oh, and he's regenning really slowly. She should be able to hold him there for a hot second. Knowing that you can't deal with the casters up here with something like Texas, but oh, he's moving again. What? He's not even full health. I thought for sure he wouldn't move until he was full health. Goodness, everyone's freezing themselves. I would have to assume if he gets through, we probably just insta-die. Oh, and passenger can't hit him anymore. I'm scared. I'm very scared that we're going to die. I don't even know... Oh no. Don't die when we're this close, come on. We just need that little bit more, come on. No! I should have deployed her here. Oh, thank goodness, okay. I was gonna be so sad if he just walked in and did 30 damage and killed us because I deployed Texas one tile behind. I thought he'd still be in range. Oh, that was so close. Well, that was a exciting run, shall we say. Alright, guess we'll read this. The first thing was a lot longer than I thought it was, but bleh. Hey, Knight. You brought the waves. A low bitch braying. It's his steed. Notkin, the scent of soil. The seeds fall into the ocean, blooming into cerulean flowers. These are not the terrible waves. Ears perk up attentively. I love that they've given this steed just some characteristics. The terrible waves. The Knight's soliloquy comes to an abrupt end. The sound of the surging waves, the whistling of foul beasts, the howling of the strident wind. In that instant, everything disappears. In complete silence, the wind rises and the clouds surge. After the moment of silence, the waves ascend, and calamity descends once again. Ishar Mallah leads we many from the depths of the tides. No longer is Iberia the sole victim, every corner of the land. Oh yeah, a lot of like the Inquisitors, like Irene, come from Iberia, don't they? Shall be drowned out by the profound silence. The Knight has lost his voice. He suddenly jerks the reins of his mount and aims the tip of his lance across the other side of the ocean. He lets out a great roar that makes his skull tremble, but when the sound reaches his ears, it is nothing more than a strange, shrill hiss. His arms are shaking, his breaths become rapid, and Rochinante keeps shaking its head. The seaborn instinct continually pushes back against his internecine savagery? These are some fancy words, I'm too dumb for this. But the Knight pays no heed to the cruel truth behind these physiological reactions. He is resolute in his belief that they arise from an uncontrollable ecstasy within his heart. After all. Oh, that's intimidating. The terrible waves he has been chasing for such a long time are before his very eyes. Wait, did we just kill the Knight that fights the Seaborn that we're also technically trying to stop? That is the origin of his fate, the cause of the terrible waves. Ishar Mallah. The Knight still remembers his name. It is he who stirs the waves. It is he who drives the sea to swallow the land. It is he who speaks for the ocean. Thus, as long as this grand life form falls here, that Ishar Mallah is who Sculptor is supposed to be, I think. The ocean will forever be silent, and there will be no more waves. The seawater slams against his armor, causing a roar akin to a metallic pheromone stampeding across the land. The rain dilutes the taste of rust in his breath, but he brings the stench of life to his nostrils. The tide tries to hold down his lance, and the currents drag him back towards the land. The whole world is holding back the Knight. The ears of wheat are swaying, the pomegranate flowers are calling. Man, this guy really seems like a protagonist that we just straight up murdered for... Did I miss something? He just disappeared, now then we fought him, like... Jeez. The loyal mount snorts, slapping the surface of the ocean with its snout in dissatisfaction. Amidst the silence, the madman guffaws. And thus the last Knight leaps forth. I don't think he's meant to be an Abyssal Hunter, because he couldn't be the last Knight. Because we still have a ton of Abyssal Hunters. Despite Scotty initially thinking she was the only surviving one. We did go down to 75 light though, that was sketchy. Yeah, this was a fine one to get. If we'd gotten the frozen, like the one that's frozen for 15 seconds on deployment, I think that's run ending with how reliant we've been on Texas. I don't know how we'd beat that ending. I mean, that ending just seems like, because it's 2 attacks against the second boss, the Knight, to freeze yourself, and I don't have Lumen raised. Lumen would probably be pretty good against that boss. I think he can clear Frozen. I know he can clear Stun with one of his skills, because people were using that when he came out with the original Spectre, or just any of the units that stun themselves. But, like, the first one didn't affect anything. This is really annoying if it happens in, like, your main lane holder. But the Frozen one is just a complete... It murders Executors. Oh. Glad we got that. And then this one was actually surprisingly helpful as well. Just free regen. Face the Knight's charge head on. That was a cool ending. That ending, I take it back, was pretty hard. I think that ending... I think you just need a bunch of really strong melee units. Like, Hand of Diffuse and Passioner was really fun to use, but we didn't really make use of it, because in a lot of the regular stages, we didn't have the DP generation, even with Myrtle, to get him out and make use of him. And I don't think he's that good against the Knight. I do think it's similar to like Big Sad Lock and his regen, where we killed the Knight without getting rid of his defense buff. If we had that second encounter that gets rid of the defense buff that I was reading about, probably would not have been that hard. I do think, like, Neural Alter would be really good against this boss. As far as I understood, I think maybe in a second phase he was... No, he wasn't aerial. It looked like he was flying, but Utage was the one who finished him off, which was surprised she did so well. I didn't use her for a lot of the mid to late game, but she was the one who finished off the boss. But when I think of units, we'd probably use Texas Alter S2. The stun didn't seem to do anything. Thorns, Spectre Alter's fine. I think Soraya's fine. As far as keeping the knight alive, we might have been able to get away with just Perfumer that run. I don't know. But we'll have to see. We got a medal, I think, for... I think that's the defeat 2 endings medal. Oh, we got a few more collectibles, and this should be able to finish off our skill tree. Mind Over Matter, likely. Mind Over Matter isn't a terrible squad. It's one of the squads that doesn't do anything for you at the start, but it could be really helpful. I've done this before. Civilization. I did want to, like, there's still so many things to see. Obviously, I did a lot of these things for the first time off stream, but the one where we got the, let me see if I can find it, where we got the lantern. I got a very specific event where I ran into are they called Inquisitors? It's like the same thing as Irene. And my options were give her the lantern, which I didn't have, or she, like, stabbed me and then let me go on my way, and I think I got, like, it was something like a couple ingots, maybe. But... oh, does it not show up? I wonder if you have to, like, complete every version of it for it to show up here. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, I didn't have the ability to give her the lantern. I'm very curious to see if you get, like, an extra collectible or something for that. And it's from this one. There's definitely a lot still to unpack. We could do 53 new. Did I really find that many? Oh, it's probably because, you know what I just realized? It's because I was playing on my phone. So all these things that I discovered on my phone over the week didn't show up on my PC client. I'm just gonna clear these for my sanity. But we have time to do a couple more runs probably. We could give the third ending a try. I have no idea what the third ending is. All I know is that to get the third ending, there's a random encounter that you have to find. And I believe it's one where it shows the Doctor and Mizuki. And you have to choose, I think it said the highlighted choice. I'd have to pull up the page again. I'd also like to try doing... you know, let's leave the third ending for next try. Let's try some higher difficulties. We'll probably just do the first ending, because the night was horrifying. But I know there's a medal for getting to Surging Waves, I think 4. Yeah. And I want to say I've heard it goes up to, like, Surging Waves 16 or something like that. It does go very high. But this first one shouldn't be too hard. Gives you score efficiency. When it says enemy difficulty, I don't know if that's just marking what difficulty you're on, or if that's actually buffing enemies in addition to this. Increased elemental damage, though, I only think is an issue in a couple of specific stages. But I'm going to keep going with the people-oriented squad. I just think it's... oh, we got the 2 Hope start. I just think it's such a powerful squad, and I've really been enjoying doing this. Oh, we got a... that's perfect. My Perfumer isn't max level, and these temporary recruitments, when you E2 them, have, like, everything. I don't know if it chooses between specific modules, is the only thing. But we'll just go for the first ending, because I'm sure with a higher difficulty, we might not be able to just blitz the first boss with Thorns and Texas Alter. But I can't imagine it'll be a huge issue. And this is a really strong starting squad. Only downside about this starting squad is we have 2 block. Which we got a good stage for it, actually. This starting stage and the one we got last run I don't think are a huge problem. I really strongly dislike this starting stage where, whatchamacallit, you have the big axe enemies. I'm terrible with names. That stage has dumpstered me more times than I can count. Like, when I've died on the first stage, the, like, 4 or 5 times it's happened, it was because I had, like, 1 or 2 block and no upgraded units, and then those axe enemies came through alongside all, like, the sea urchins and such, and they just blitzed me. It was really sad, even with this cube. And this cube is a really helpful tool. It's a little unfortunate that it's RNG based, because depending on what you roll, I think the movement speed debuff might always be the same, but it does slow attack speed by quite a lot. And that has saved me. But I'll probably practice the second ending a little bit more off stream. I don't know when our next stream will be. I'm still looking for work. I was at a pretty stable job, but like I was saying, I just had some really bad lung issues and unfortunately couldn't continue. I'm also debating getting back into school. I've been in and out of school on and off for a couple years now. Just because I am indecisive and I'm not sure what I want to do. Oh, goodbye, Orchid.
Mission accomplished.
Thanks, Perfumer. Ooh. So, my thought here is, I could try and do the risky first, like, it's funny because I would always do a first floor emergency off an IS2. The only time I've been doing it is if I have, like, upgraded Thorns or Mudrock, because Mudrock can clear those by herself. Even if I grab Shelter here, I don't think I'll be able to do it, so I'm gonna be greedy and grab Cruise. And we're gonna go for the non-emergency op. I am chickening out a bit, but in all seriousness, I've died on the first emergency op as well so many times. This is the stage I was talking about as well. I really dislike this stage. Because these little enemies aren't like, they're not tough later on, but right now they're deceptively tanky, as are the Bone Sea Drifters. And so with only 2 block on the field, it's why I usually hope to get an early melee unit. Or an early E2 also helps. Is when this guy moves at the same time as these guys, I have just completely gotten killed. I will be honest too, I use Cruise so much, like way more than Exia ever, in integrated strategy specifically. I've considered raising her altar. Just because the altar is still cheaper than Exia, and if at max level investment, altar is better than Cruise, and is upgradable. Or I guess promotable. It'd be really helpful.
Mission accomplished.
Alright. Oh, perfect. And we got rewarded for holding off because we get our other busted unit. I'm sorry, I know it's gotta be so boring seeing me just use the same handful of units every time. Eventually, once I get better at IS3, I would love to do some streams where I do some niche strategies. We might start out with something easier like Abyssal Hunters or Guard Knights, but I would like to win. And honestly, if you want to win, Texas is pretty good at making sure that happens. Ow, I just slammed my knee into my desk. I never really know what to say on these early stages. Like, with other games I like to do like more commentary, with this one I like to just do like, this is what I'm doing. There's not much to say at the start of an IS3 or IS2 run. It's just like, here I put down these units and I prayed that I didn't get overrun. Nice. Well, we got a second chance for Chalter, so let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, I believe is the saying. 2 free dice rolls, that's nice. I believe the upgrades at some point give you the ability to reroll if you roll poorly at the end of something, but I can't remember. When rerolling the die, if you would otherwise obtain a debuff. Oh, we totally could have done that, I think, last time. I just didn't care that it was on Texas. Draining life when you're not at full health when we had that much regen and on an Executor doesn't really matter. Try and invest here. I have not had many chances to invest in this. This is actually the most I've gotten in. Nice. Usually I'm unironically getting less than 5, which is unfortunate. SP regen for the medics I use isn't super helpful. Take this and this. And just like that, I already feel real strong. What was this? This one's... It's just so... Oh, they nerfed it. I think it was 30% before. So, to be fair, if I was using like Schwarz, or I used to use Firewatch a lot actually, that would also be helpful. But the only one of these three, I feel like I tend to fall too heavily into using specific units. Because in IS2, this was only helpful when I was using Rosa, but it was really good for her. So I could imagine with like Schwarz why they nerfed it. Because I'm like 99% certain if we did an IS2 run, this one is 30%. We could check once we're done with this run. Assuming like the balance changes didn't also affect IS, the original integrated strategies. I'd like to take bottom path here, wish fulfilled plus, well. We'll try it. I was about to say, is that the one that... I'm just so bad with, like, names. If that's the one where you trade in an artifact, I wonder if it's the same thing. It didn't let us trade in Miss Christine's petting ticket, which makes me think that the one-time use collectibles... I don't know if it pulls, like, from a random pool when you're offered the chance to exchange a relic, or if it just doesn't let you exchange certain ones. For example, like the ones you've already pretty much used up entirely. I did not see that that was a spike chest. It's fine. It would make sense to me if they just didn't let you get rid of, you know, like one-time use collectibles, because that would be kind of broken. But it would be nice, because then you get like one of the free promotion ones, you just use that instantly and then you get rid of it, you know? No reason not to pop that. Literally the only thing difficult with how broken Shelter S3 is with using that character is just when you're gonna reload. Nice, okay. Got a free treasure. Yeah, but I've used a couple other units for sure. Irene, I've used a decent amount. I've tried Gaviel the Invincible. I just don't think there's just so much aerial presence in this game mode that I just really don't think you can replace Thorns. If I had Silver Ash, that would also be a potential option. I've considered just borrowing like a friend's Silver Ash at the start, but that would require me to start with a guard voucher. And I just highly doubt that Silver Ash would be, that's unfortunate, I shouldn't have. Well, it's fine. That's about the same, maybe I shouldn't have grabbed the last operator I did, but the last one was Myrtle, which was only one hope, and then before that it was Chalter, who's our carry right now. Ooh, free random collectible. Well, now we could use that. Use the key to go down here. Okay, this isn't the one I thought it was. So 40 less. I just really don't think ranged units. We'll have to see about the fourth ending, because at this point I am 100% convinced. Like I said, I tried really hard not to spoil myself. I didn't know the knight was the final boss, but I did know that one of the final bosses is Sculptor, like the Ishir Mallah taken over version. So I would have to imagine the third ending is Sculptor. And so maybe this comes more into play, because I've seen almost no elemental damage to ranged units. The melee one was pretty helpful though. And honestly, I wouldn't have minded rolling a 1 there, because it would have given me something else random. That might have done more than just 10 ingots, but it's alright. And neither is this stage. Let's summon. That is 100% the Mimic. And frankly, until I get like every unit down, Probably not gonna mess with that thing.
これが戦場というもの
I'm tired of getting dumpstered by it.
みんな助けに来たよ問題ないわ
I'm debating putting like Cholter here facing left, and then once she's finally reloaded, then we'll maybe go for it.
みんなこっち来て
But until I am good and ready, I am not messing with this thing.
これで静
Oh.
かになってくれる
That's
え
incredibly awkward. I did not think that through.
寝るときは眠らないんだから
Oh boy. Alright, Cholter, you gotta be ready now.
狙って
I completely forgot that she would just AoE. Okay, it's fine. I completely forgot that she would AoE every tile around her. Both her S2 and her S3 did it, so there's really no excuse except me being dumb. But that... I panicked so hard.
さっさと片付
The
ける
mimics are scary, like genuinely. Even with Perfumer skill up, that thing dumpstered Myrtle. Yeah, they slap.
何も起きてる
If you hit those when you're not prepared, it just... Oh, it's so horrifying.
よかったわねドクター君
Alright. Admittedly, I was hoping for a melee unit. If we'd taken the one collectible, I would have considered getting Schwartz here, but I'm just gonna go for a free unit. I need to raise a Dodge Neil. Or Adnatio. And, some of my other 3-star units. I think my Midnight's like 5 levels off max. But... I highly doubt I'll need 10 dice rolls. Got 3 vouchers. Okay. Well, extra choices. That's always helpful. It looks like we're gonna get a curse. Never mind. Operator with the highest HP. You know what? That's not bad, because if we deploy Thorns first once he's got Destreza, he's pretty powerful. Oh, it looks like there is the mystery, so... I'm assuming as you go higher in Surging Siege, you have a higher chance for these. The battles on this floor have a 30% chance to drop a recruitment voucher. Wait. Is it 30% chance to drop an extra one, or we only have like a 30% chance to get a voucher? Because that could be really bad. First wish fulfilled node will gain 1 random collectible, but you know by node types. Okay, so we need to try and find... I would assume that can't spawn, unless there is a wish fulfilled node. Let's go to the top side here. Just to give us both options, because I'd really hate to skip one. If the entire thing is we can't see anything, but we get a free wish fulfilled.
くれぐれも安
Would
全
kind
に
of
ね
defeat the purpose. But I really hope that's not a 30% chance just to get a voucher, because that would be tragic when we just got
これで静かになって
the really good collectible that gives you
助けに来たよ
double recruitment vouchers, or gives you a choice between 2. Because the utility of that one is actually insane.
これが戦場というものねこれで静かになってみんなこっち来て
Yeah, I literally can't imagine how I'd deal with so many of these enemies if I didn't have Texas Alter. I would probably attempt to rely on Project Red, similarly to how I tended to do in IS2, but I just don't think it would work as well.
これは何も起きて指定の位置に向かう
Because unlike Texas Alter, who can do arts damage, has micro stuns and everything, Red basically just does that quick stun when she drops, and then
私に出会ったのは
is guaranteed to do a certain portion of her attack per hit. Which isn't bad, but
さっさと片付ければ
I can't imagine she'd do that, you know, instantly and be ready to go again.
問題ないほらしっかり遺言の伝達
I need to ask these guys to stop killing my healer.
指定の位置に向かう手はず
Let's
通り
drop Orchid here as a bit of a distraction.
ここにいたのね
Oh. Did not realize I'd hit my deployment limit.
助ければいいそいつらを逃がすな
I mean, the fact that an Executor can tank a hit from that hammer when not promoted is insane. Because Executor's entire, like, selling point is that they have, like, a skill that drops when they deploy. So they have, like, just immediate value, but then they have lower stats. We did get a recruitment voucher. So I'm wondering if that is just a chance to get an extra voucher. Either way. I was correct. If we would have skipped a wish fulfilled, I don't know if we'd gotten another one. It does just say the first one, so maybe there's another one. But we got White Flower Crown, increased healing effectiveness, and... I was looking at this actually, and Ling would be insane. Like a solo Ling run, or at least like a Ling run with maybe like a medic and Soraya or something, you know? Would be disgusting, especially with how high deployment limit you can get with these new collectibles. That being said, we're just gonna take this. Again, I wouldn't have minded rolling a 1. Genuinely, when you get a collectible that you can't really use, rolling a 1 isn't the worst thing. Which is why we rolled a 2. But not as crazy as... I still can't believe it happened that I rolled, there was a time I legitimately rolled 3 1s in a row, and I had the collectible that upgrades your dice. So I had an 8-sided die, and I still rolled 3 1s. It was honestly just kind of sad. I wasn't even mad. I was just kind of sad. We're gonna leave Texas here while she uses her skill. I think we should be okay. The problem is these guys really eat through Chelter's ammo. And one of the reasons why I think it's so good, like obviously I spent a little bit of money on this game, but one of the things that makes, I think it's potential 5 on most 6-star operators so powerful, is that's I believe the one that upgrades their talent. And so on Chalter, I believe it would upgrade the talent that gives her a chance not to consume ammo, which lets her keep this broken skill up for that much longer. Because you'll see every now and then on the tick marks, it doesn't go down when she attacks, and that's because that talent's activating. Guess I could have put down another unit. But overall, shouldn't be in danger. Really open for a guard voucher or a defender voucher here. I know I've talked a lot about Mudrock and not used her this stream, but Mudrock is really solid in this game mode, except for on nervous impairment stages. See. Oh, okay, so I'm wondering if this is just a 30% chance to give an extra choice? I'm very confused. Because I can't imagine with the RNG I usually have that I would have gotten, like, if it's just a 30% chance to get a recruitment voucher in general, that would have happened twice in a row. Which makes me think maybe it's just been the chance. Even then, though, if it's a chance to get an extra option, I've gotten it twice in a row. But it even gave us both the ones I just asked for, guard and defender. Grab thorns. And let's go rogue trader, we have 35 ingots. That's not bad. I really like that they've added more of these though, because like Hand of Super Speed makes Dollkeeper and Executors really strong. Hand of Diffusion makes Passenger, really only Passenger really busted, but I like the idea. Like this one I've thought about using like Rosemontis or W more, just because it gives them increased damage the more they attack a unit. And then a lot of these guys do splash damage, so I'd assume it'd proc on everyone there. We're gonna go ahead and grab... I'd like to use Muinar, I just need a unit with block right now. I've tried everyone here at least once except Surtur actually, and I still just think Neuro's one of the strongest units in the game. Got a free upgrade of Paprika there, could have taken her, but Let's not forget to do this. I've actually lost a run because I specifically forgot to do that. Vote. Mural? Perfect. Use the safe house, and I would actually, yeah, I was gonna say, I'll take squad size here. I will say a lot of the base things I talked about our first stream, like the starting ingots and then the XP gain, was 100% because we needed to upgrade the skill tree, and I probably just forgot that IS2 at the start was like that, because several of these nodes give you increased, if I can find it, like gives you increased starting life points. It gives you a little bit of stats, but it's like increased unlocks features. Where is it? There's several that give you extra, yeah, extra command XP, which is weird because, like, for example, on IS2, I remember you level up on the first fight, and then the second one usually takes you just shy of a level. And now I think that's the case, but I don't believe that was the case before we'd gotten all these upgrades. As always, this stage shouldn't be too hard. It's a little bit safer, I think, to put Spectre Alter to hold the top lane like we did last time than to put Neural. But we don't have Spectre, so that's not an option presented to us. And actually, I forgot about that collectible. So if we don't deploy anyone else, we'll just have instant Destreza. There are a lot of collectibles that do that though, like starting with extra, like an extra 15 or 18 SP. Also makes that incredibly easy. Let's hang on like this. I am gonna do this. This. I don't want to make the same mistake I did last time, so we're not going to hold this guy here forever. Because what I usually do on this stage, and what I can absolutely do with these two, is just let the bug go most of the way through and then just dumpster the bug over and over. It's not hard to one-shot the bug. This guy's a little more beefy though. And might preserve a little bit of filters and, like, look at that. This thing is not hard to kill. But I've been very, very surprised with how good Perfumer is. Like, she's on the list. I mean, there's a ton of lists, units on that list, like Cutter, Perfumer, Jay, that I just haven't had a chance. I didn't activate that. That I just haven't had a chance to raise because we've had so many good banners recently. But especially the 4-star units, they're easy to recruit. I mean, with this particular squad, it's free. Like 4 and 5-star units are really underrated, I think, in IS2, as long as you have them raised. And I'll admit, I'm very guilty of the I'm just gonna raise all the high rarity units, which is fun, and I think it's fine on most normal content. But on higher end content, I think it's a little more difficult to, I mean, not higher end, in IS2, a little more difficult to get away with that. I have no idea who this could possibly be for, except maybe like Flametail. I've seen this multiple times. We do have like you could maybe get lucky and get like Dancer's Bracelets and a few other ones. And that is a huge buff, but I just can't imagine it's, to me that feels way too unreliable to use. What have we got? Caster Specialist, or Medic Sniper Supporter Caster, certain automatically promoted. If this had Defender or Specialist in it, I would consider it, but just like I was talking about, we've been doing a very, like, similar, it's the exact same strat pretty much every time. So I'm not really gonna diverge from that. Oh, we can roll again. I mean, at this point, we could just roll again at that first floor just to try and get a collectible. I mean, not a collectible, a blessing. I'm not super worried about it. I do really like this for Thorns. Let's go bottom. Oh, we don't have a key. That's awkward. Which emergency op this? This one shouldn't be hard. I wanted to see which one that was, because we had the option of emergency regular or regular emergency, so if we didn't like this one, we could just kind of reroll, but knowing what the emergency op ahead is a lot safer than not. Just as always, Have Texas deal with the exploding bugs before they come over and dumpster our backline. I'll be honest though, I feel like I don't see hardly any Sarkaz enemies in this game mode. And that's usually like one of the big selling points of that one collectible we got, where Sarkaz enemies no longer deal damage. Because literally, the #1 reason you would take that collectible before was specifically so that you didn't get one-shot by the chargers. The charger type enemies. And I don't even think I've seen those. And they were a huge issue in IS2. There were like 3 or 4 stages based almost solely around those. But to not even see them here has genuinely been very surprising to me. Well, that didn't even... Really? Maybe it's just chance to dodge? I'm surprised that's not... No, I just don't think that's hitting each other. I wonder if it's because there's a wall there. That's interesting. Anyway, time to deal with Pompeii. One downside to using Texas for these bugs is she does proc her healing after killing the first one right before the explosion goes off. So even though she refreshes her health, she still gets jumped. But in the long scheme of things, that is a very, very, very small issue. But I just can't help but use Texas S3. It's just super, like, I almost want to say nostalgic too, because I use Texas, just regular Texas, so much in regular play for like the 2 years I've played the game, that just seeing the sword rating go down a bunch too is really cool. Like, this game does do a really good job with altars. Like, it's very rare that I'll see an altar that I'm disappointed with. Even some upcoming ones too, like Read the Flame Shadow looks awesome. It's forcing me to go to Downtime Rec. So I've only seen one Downtime Rec stage. And it's like a, it looks like a gumball machine, like a type thing. And it's basically the equivalent of the tiny stage event. Which, you know, basically translates to I don't ever play it. Because it's not that good. Yeah, the increased HP for the highest, like, HP percentage operator is kind of nuts. Because we talked about getting the offensive recovery collectible to give Thorns Destreza faster. I mean, he's getting it instantly. And there's just always been a surprisingly high number of ways to do that. But yeah, I don't know. It just, even if S2, and I know I keep mentioning this, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but the even if S2 is a slightly higher DPS skill too, that micro stun is what stops her from getting nuked a couple times. Like, you saw that enemy about to swing down, and then he got stunned a few times by the swords falling. Super useful utility. Like, I really just cannot get over how strong this unit is. Blows my mind every time. I was hoping to see, maybe I should save a key if I get one. Because I was hoping to see the extra stage so I could show that off. And I was hoping to see, there's a, oh hey, it's the Duck Lord. There is a stage that literally spawns in all 3. And I've never done it perfectly, and I've never killed all 3, but it spawns in the bear. It's a 3-lane map. It spawns in the bear, the duck, and the invisible enemy. And I've managed to kill 2 of them before, but I still want to see if I can make it work to kill all of them. I got this one again. You know what? If I get the opportunity to get Rose Montes or W, I'll grab one of the 2. I actually really like Rose Montes, but she's another example. I'll do this a couple times. I don't know if there's a collectible that you unlock by feeding this like there is for Tiny Stage, because I do remember one of the last things I unlocked was spending a certain amount in Tiny Stage. But Tiny Stage has given me collectibles. I've never gotten a collectible from this. I played that a few times and leave. It gives you 4, I think, when you leave. Yeah, it just feels like kind of a rip. Because Tiny Stage actually did give you... I'm just not a fan of the King's collectibles. Ooh, that's solid. When you consider my basic strategy uses a specialist for assassinations and a lane holder specialist. That's nuts. What have we got? Forecaster, I just... not a fan of this either. You wanna roll what? Why have we rolled so many 2s on this? We haven't gotten a 6 to get an extra free one, and we haven't rolled a... Well, I think we did once. And we haven't rolled a 1, I don't think, so that we could just re-roll and get something else. Okay. What's the effect here? 3 Originum ingots. Oh, okay, it's just basically, there's an effect like this. I'm trying to remember this. I think it's Obsessed. We get 3 ingots every time we enter a non-combat node. There is not a... Huh. There isn't even a shop, so I guess that doesn't really matter. Let's see though, either way we go, if we go top or bottom, we get an emergency op if we want. I can't remember. Oh, Wander into Wonderland I think is the one that you get the extra stage on. So let's go bottom and maybe we'll get a key if we're lucky. But I do believe that's the one that gives you the extra stage I was talking about where everybody just freezes 24/7. And it's very necessary to have some free regen like Perfumer. I don't think we've seen this stage yet actually either. I always just do this. He goes one of the drones and then just dumpsters the big drone. I wonder if these have been nerfed though, compared to, because the only time you saw those big drones in IS2 I believe was on one of the last floor bosses on the 4th floor, or the 6th floor, sorry. And they were scary. Like, I remember dealing with them with Rosa, and her actually having a hard time dealing with it. So, I don't know, if I'm being honest. But if she does that much damage to those drones, like, she could honestly dumpster that stage. Because I know you usually either get that stage, or you get, whatchamacallit, the stage where it just spawns a crazy ton of the crates that drop nervous impairment damage. Or, what's the last one you can get? I think there's 3 options for the 6th floor. But I can't help but draw these really cool comparisons to IS2 just because I played so much IS2. Like, I've beaten every single ending except the 4th ending in that mode with every single squad, and I've done it with, like, I think half the squads there. I just love roguelikes, honestly. I love the replayability factor, I guess, and just the ability to have a game. Like, I have like 800 hours on the PC client of The Binding of Isaac alone, let alone as well on the, like, on consoles, and I actually played it on both consoles because I owned a PS4 and an Xbox One. Like, long before I started gaming on PC, I played a lot of console because it's more accessible. Like, I know some people always have the console wars, but I'll never hate on someone for playing on console because it's just more accessible, and it's still just as fun in my opinion. I think for certain games it's harder to get a hold of. Like, you can't play, like, ROMs, or there's... To be fair, there's also console exclusives. Like, the lack of Bloodborne on other platforms has always bummed me out a little bit, but still. I think as long as you're having fun, that's what's important. Anyway, we said we'd do it. Let's grab, we were thinking Rosemontis or W. Let's go W, just, again. Eventually I might want to try out the Rosemontis strat, but the ability to hit ranged units is too important, I think. Let's do this. I actually used S2 for a long time just because I was lazy. We're gonna have to be careful if we do use her though, because we don't want to activate the plants immediately. It's kind of cool to see, like, and just feel stages out and, like, start getting these strategies for every stage, because that just necessary. Every roguelike I feel like is like that, where you can definitely, like, if you're good enough, which I'm usually not, you can just beat things blind, but it becomes much, much easier as you become more and more experienced. I did not realize that was that low. I probably should have just left Texas there. That's awkward. I still want to just let this thing break through at one point, because I would assume the plans go topside. That would be my best guess, if you let that through. But I mean, we are in a solid position. Let's see this. We do not have as high a deployment limit. It's kind of hard to see the collectible effect, to be fair, because Filter and Thorns are just killing everything. But I genuinely think that could be insane on bosses. I can't remember how long it stacks up, because that would be important. Let's let one of these groups through. But how long it stacks up is definitely going to be important. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Because the extra damage upon hitting an enemy over and over would be really nice and save a knight, as long as it out times, because I would like to raise Lumen now seeing what this is, but it's going to take a while. So if it lasts long enough for it to unfreeze and keep getting a little bit of that damage bonus, it could be really good. And what I like to do here is let like half the group through. That one's fine. Oh, do we have... Oh. I did not realize we were going to have Bear Lord. We need these guys to go through now, then. I was going to use, Neuro's skill there, but... we're fine. Hopefully we have time to grab... Oh. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that was just gonna one-shot her. I was gonna let her take one hit and then, hit the Bear Lord. He had different plans. It didn't matter. I still think Neural Alter is one of the best for getting rid of this mini-boss. Even the stealth one, I'd imagine, just because she drops an extra unit. You know what? I'm gonna roll up. We still opened it. That's really good. As is that. Who's not upgraded? I know W isn't. Oh, Spalt, that's why she's not upgraded. We need Sniper, Defender, and Specialist. Of which we rolled one. Not bad. I do actually like using W. I don't think she's far from the best operator for sure. But I do like using her, and deployment limit's nice. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be able to wander into the extra stage. We'll do that sometime on stream. I just have to remember to save a key. I always forget. I think you can get that encounter maybe on the 4th floor as well. I'm not sure. But, oh look, we got the Mimic. Wonderful. Why is this thing... Oh, right, okay. I always forget, so that collectible we just got does 3,000 arts damage to an enemy, not to, I'm really scared to activate Distrace it because I really don't feel like just dying to that Mimic. Let's hold on for like one more second. That thing died really fast. I think I was worried for nothing. Seriously though, the Mimic and the Thorns chest, I think the Thorns chest reflects like a certain percentage of damage, if I'm not mistaken. Because it just straight up dumpsters units, like... Even with the healer actively on them, I've had the Thorny chest just straight up kill my carry. And it's actually just the saddest thing I've ever seen. But, like I was saying, we're not really getting it to see. Like, you can tell that's doing more damage per hit. I really like the idea of giving stacking damage to a unit. The main issue is I think that just... It's also going to a unit class, like it was Flingers, Artillerymen, and I can't remember what the third one is, but it's going to like a group of classes that aren't exactly the fastest attacking operators. And you could argue that that would be pretty broken, unlike even just like a regular sniper. But then I would just say hand diffusion passenger exists. Like, it is the most busted thing. I genuinely wonder if part of the reason the night boss there doesn't free like passenger immediately is because hand diffusing passenger just kills bosses by himself. Like, unless I have attack speed relics, I usually wouldn't try to kill Lucian before he's left the right side of the stage. Passenger can do that really easily. I've done it with Horn as well, but that again took attack speed collectibles. Right, so I think we were missing a defender upgrade and a specialist upgrade, which we got that. I don't have a key. So we just get to sadly look at Wonderland. No. But the stage is really hard. I panicked the first time I did it because I thought it might have been an ending, but it just takes you... It's a weird stage. Like, you defend 2 objective nodes in the middle, and there's a long path and like a big rectangle around the outside. And the boss basically just freezes everyone every now and then. And the only saving grace I've had on that stage is that Perfumer's second talent, the regen, still activates. And this would have been a really good run to do it as well because we have Actor's Perfume. But otherwise, the one time I've done it, it would have killed me. It is a hard stage unless you're using something like that. Hard feels... I've been wanting to try this. I was hoping we got this when we did the Sculptor run. It could be really good with... I think the only therapist I have leveled is Whisper Rain. And I do have Carnelian, but she's not E2'd yet. But I really like the idea of this, because Bards... I think it's just Heidi, Sculptor, and Sora. But, like, Bards don't attack usually in general. Except I think maybe Sculptor S3 might count. Phalanx casters don't do damage unless their skill's active, and Therapists are just wide-range healers. The ability to just get some free damage there is really nice. Won't be able to see it here, but it is nice. I don't think either of these is useful. Same thing as when it was like Blade Mace and the, whatever the other one was called. It's cool. You can get some really cool runs with this. You know what? I talked myself into it. The reason I did that was I don't think we're going to have a trouble with lane holding with what we have. And that basically just lets me just mega fast redeploy Texas Altar. So, I talked myself into it, but ordinarily I think that's really detrimental on tough stages. But I know there's a really funny strategy you can do with... I mean, it worked the same way as it does in the IS2 with whichever the collectible is. But you get the, if it still exists, the Vanguard 50% redeploy timer collectible. And you grab Bagpipe and that artifact. And you end up with like a, I think it's like a, I don't know if it's not instant redeploy, I'd imagine. I think it's just half and then half again. But you basically end up with an S3 Bagpipe that just is an Executor, but is more powerful because she doesn't have an Executor stat. But you can see here, I mean, Texas Altar now has a 7-second redeploy timer. And just spam deploying her was already the strategy I was using on this stage. So, not the biggest concern. It is funny, but... Jeez. Thorns is doing a lot of damage to this boss. What buffs do I have this run? The first run we did where we killed this thing, Thorns did not do that much damage. I wonder what we have. I wasn't even deploying units because I was just confused. He's popping off. But he just... When I say like IS1 is... I mean IS3 is easier than IS2, and I'd never played IS1, so I can't speak on that. I did not beat Lucian first try. I did beat Big Sad Lock, and I believe I beat the Speaker. Not the Speaker, the Playwright. And we'll have to see how the third ending goes, which we'll do another time. But it was a lot more difficult in my opinion than this. Like, I would not expect anyone, even if I had a really powerful squad, I still don't think, and like now having played Arknights all this time later, I still don't think I would have beaten Lucian first try. Because I wouldn't have prepared Rosa. Like, if you consider I had a similar, like, our first run we did today, right? What I went in with her, I had a pretty solid melee force. I would have had no idea how to deal with Lucian. Because nowadays Lucian's is really simpler to deal with. Lucian is really simple to deal with for me. Because I just have a very specific tile I put Neural Alter in, and I let her kill the boss by himself. And then I have Rosa take care of the puppets. I have an Executor to deal with the enemies that are only target ranged. Like, there's a very specific strategy I use. But the first time I played that, I had none of that. I walked in like a moron and died. You know? Like Lucian, and you really don't want to let Lucian get too far into that stage, because he just starts dumpstering everyone with nervous impairment. And that's the issue I have with taking like Mulberry or Honeyberry, is half the time you run into nervous impairment in these stages, they're not gonna be able to stop you anyways. Tide-linked Bishop. I think that was the third floor boss. Like, there's just not gonna be a whole lot you're gonna be able to do to stop them, I think. Unless you took like 2 or 3 nervous impairment healers, and at that point I feel like you might as well just get stronger characters and healers and just tank it. But we're missing, so let's see, lose 8 more life points. This is not that hard actually. Usually you dump all of your ingots either just into a shop, and then you purposely don't take any ingots. It was really confusing the first time I did this actually. But it seems like unlock requirements are very similar to what they were, even if they're for slightly different collectibles as an IS2. But that's not too hard to do, you just have the option to leave without taking the ingots. Otherwise it would be impossible because you get ingots on the 3rd floor boss. I have no idea what battle this is. This is the defense supporter one, so I haven't done that. I'll probably just do the first ending off stream. I'll probably grind the second ending a little bit off stream and maybe some difficulty levels, but we'll see. I haven't done this with at least 3 supporters. I know I've done it with 2. To be fair, flash camera isn't super important. Neither is this collectible 3 medics. This is the one that if you overheal, it does damage. Which would theoretically be really good with like single target healers, except for the fact that they won't heal a full health ally. So it's just very situational and doesn't usually do a whole lot. I have no idea who that is. Let the skimming drifters enter, question mark. Another leader. I don't know who these leaders are. I would assume maybe these are 3rd floor bosses, but I just don't know why they're not appearing. Defenders, Homecoming. Homecoming, I think we saw the art for it earlier. It's the campfire event with Mizuki and the doctor. Camp. Enter the advanced squad. 5 5-star operators. That's gonna be annoying. That'll probably just be a throwaway run, to be honest. I think they took away the collectibles that always give you, like, the, for example, I always took the every supporter voucher turns into a general recruitment voucher, which is a bit of a bummer because that was really nice. But we unlocked this, that's going to be annoying. 10 res won't be super annoying, I don't think. It does block some of Texas's damage, but overall, I don't think it'll be much of an issue. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there, guys. Again, not the longest stream. I haven't been streaming as long as I used to. I used to do like 5-6 hours, but I'll try and stream either sometime, I think mid next week or next weekend for sure. And we'll definitely do some more IS3. This is going to be at least, I think, another 4 or 5 IS3 streams. I'd like to get to maximum surging waves on stream. I won't be trying the third ending off stream or anything. I'll probably just try and grind out my investment system maybe. See what we can get out of that. But thanks everyone who stopped by or watched the VOD as always. I'm really enjoying getting back into streaming now that my health issues are back in line. So I'll try and stream a little more consistently. I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do. Like I need to get a job. Thankfully I'm okay financially right now, but because my health forced me to leave my job, I need to figure that out. I'm also planning on trying to get back into college here in the fall. So once I get that all figured out, we'll be able to get a more steady stream schedule in line. And I'm also definitely going to try and look at a few other things to stream. Every now and then I just peruse stream and look for like a new roguelike or something, so we'll see. But I will catch you guys next time. Bye.